name is Marjorie, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2008. Today, I'd like to share with you what living with MS can be like on a daily basis. I hope this information provides a little more insight to the struggle your friend or family member is going through from the inside out. Watching this brief presentation says to your family member that what they're doing and going through matters to you, and I promise you that they'll appreciate anything you're willing to do to learn more about this disease and how you can support them. Okay, let's briefly talk about MS in a nutshell. Since you know someone with MS, there's pretty good chance that you know a little bit about the disease, but let's break it down in a way that you can explain it to others. As you probably know, MS patients are suffering long before the diagnosis. Multiple assumptions are made by doctors before identifying that there's a neurological answer because MS mimics so many other issues. There can be a sense of relief when receiving a diagnosis simply because we've lived with the symptoms, the pain, the body malfunctions for so long, and we finally have an answer. As you can see, there are so many symptoms multiple sclerosis patients deal with. This is not a complete list, and most MS patients are dealing with at least 3 of these symptoms at any given time. Here's an easy way to think of MS. Imagine our central nervous system is a breaker box, and those wires or nerves are connected to every point in our bodies. A raccoon, or animal of choice, is MS. It strips the protective coating from the wire, just as MS strips the myelin from the nerves in the brain, leaving the wire or nerve exposed and shorting out anything it's connected to. The raccoon also leaves debris or lesions where the coating was removed. It also causes inflammation and is known as an autoimmune disease, a condition in which the body mistakes healthy cells for foreign cells and turns on itself. Many of you may be familiar with flare-ups, but the disease also has a gradual, progressive component. Many call MS the snowflake disease because each patient's MS looks different. Some appear to suffer more than others. Many MS patients run marathons, ride bikes, and can spend countless hours in the sun or cold, while others lose the ability to walk, drive, or function with any consistency. That's why it's so important not to compare one MS patient's journey to another. Each person's severity depends on several factors. MS knowledge, research, and therapies have come a long way, but only since the 90s. Health issues and a lifestyle also play a significant role in how debilitating MS becomes. Please know the following insight is not meant to depress you or have you pity us. It's just a very real view into what's happening. Okay, so imagine you woke up today and within seconds of consciousness, you feel hip or back pain and you're pretty exhausted, maybe like the worst hangover or flu you've ever had. As you sit up and pivot to get out of bed, you feel covered in weights, bags, or bricks, and you're not sure your legs are going to support your weight. That's how the day begins for many of us with MS. Some mornings are better than others, and some mornings we just fake it because there's no other choice. Because the word incurable is never far from our minds, we are always in one of the stages of grief. We use the word cycle a little sarcastically here because this type of grief has no real pattern. Remember, some combination of these symptoms and many more are always active in us. So while attempting to function and take care of ourselves and our families, this is always going on. And each symptom is a reminder that it's not going away. Most people focus on the physical impact of MS, but it's important to understand that every spasm, tremor, foot drop and forgotten task is a part of a much bigger picture for us. Every physical symptom can cause the cycle of grief to activate. Even guilt for not being the person we were expected to be can be a quiet reality. Imagine waking up one day and realizing you will never earn another paycheck. Whatever you have today is all you'll be able to save and possibly live on for the rest of your life. A simple MRI appointment can take us down an emotional and financial rabbit hole. Can I afford the copay? How will I get there? Who will I inconvenience by asking for a ride? What if I need that same person for another favor later in the week? What if there are more lesions? How much will the new medication cost? Ask your loved one with MS which therapy they're on. Then Google the retail price. Losing insurance or patient assistance could be devastating. Just the thought of it could be overwhelming. It can be difficult to understand why MS patients seem to always be tired. Well, first, it's important to understand that what we feel is fatigue, not tired. Tired can be remedied with rest. Fatigue can't. Logic for a healthy person implies if we rest, we'll feel better. But MS never rests, so sitting still can cause more aches and spasms. Remember, our nerves are damaged, so our bodies aren't functioning efficiently. We're using twice as much energy and time to do half as many tasks. Even basic tasks like showering and combing our hair can wear us out. And like a bad cell phone battery, we never recharge completely. Here's yet another bizarre fact about MS. Even though relief from fatigue is hit or miss, our muscles still need the rest. Misfiring nerves, tremors, and spasms are like never-ending, involuntary, and inefficient exercise. That's why it's not unusual for MS patients to need rest between normal activities. Tasks like grocery shopping, bathing a dog, or cooking a meal can wear us out. If we choose to multitask, we run the risk of needing several hours or even days to recover. And how do we know which tasks will do this to us? We don't. I think it's safe to say that there are two very different timelines with multiple sclerosis. The first is the battle, and the second is the war. The battle, like most battles, would be considered short term. The initial diagnosis, the rally of friends and family to fight by your side, and lots of research. There's even a hint of believing that all will be fine, and it won't be allowed to impact who we are day to day. And then there's the war. During the war, progression continues, years go by, various aspects of life change, and our loved ones grow a little desensitized because it's been going on for so long. We may even look and sound the same as before diagnosis, but trust me, we aren't. Now, we fully recognize that our friends and families have lives of their own and absolutely do not expect all things to revolve around us and our diagnosis. But we do hope that support continues as we fight in this never-ending war. Okay, now let's talk about ways to support the ones you love. Begin by translating phrases you probably hear often. For us, the words tired and fatigued may be used as interchangeable, but as mentioned earlier, fatigue doesn't get better with rest. Brain fog impacts our ability to process information, express ourselves clearly, and sometimes execute the most basic of tasks. I call my brain fog a conscious coma. I may be staring into space or even at the TV, but wouldn't be able to tell you what was on or what I was thinking about because there were no clear specific thoughts. The last four phrases have similar meanings. Our ability to function at that time is over. If an MS patient says any one of these things to you, Please take them very seriously. Something that's well intended but uninformed can cause guilt and even shame about something we can't control. It's called toxic positivity. It implies no matter what, you really shouldn't feel bad because it could always be worse. The problem with that mindset is that it implies a person without MS knows how a person with MS should feel. Some of us don't mind the occasional joke or giggle about our challenges, but I strongly advise you to read the room. Timing is everything. One of the best ways to support your loved one is what you're doing right now. Taking the time to learn about MS on your own says it matters enough to you to do the research yourself. We use our phones for entertainment, restaurant reviews, and following the lives of strangers. Please consider using it to learn more about your loved one's MS journey. Most patients struggle asking for help, even our closest friends, no matter how desperately we need it. It's easier to accept an offer than it is to make a request. So please ask how you can help. As mentioned earlier, each MS journey is different. Comparing a loved one to someone with MS who appears to be living a normal life implies that your loved one could be doing more to get better. Every day, MS patients are giving 100%. Some days it may be an activity, and other days it may be only having a meal and getting back in bed. But either can take 100% of our energy depending on the day. If I say to you, yesterday was rough, I felt so out of it, and your response to me is, me too, I was running errands all day, it tells me you believe your tired is the same as my chronic illness. It can stop us from sharing what we're going through. If we're trying to communicate, please don't cut us off or attempt to finish our sentences. We may process information slower, and cutting us off can shut down our train of thought. So please be patient. Each time we have to cancel plans, it reminds us of how unwell we are. Sometimes you including us is what we look forward to. So please don't stop. If you're an MS caregiver, you've probably seen the best of times and the worst of times. It's important that you are finding ways to process how you feel and how the disease has impacted your life as well. Tap into your support system. Find outlets and opportunities to recharge your battery and plan breaks. There are many resources that offer caregiver counseling as well. There's no shame in needing support. We love and appreciate you and don't want our situation to be the reason you don't take care of yourself. On behalf of MS warriors everywhere, thank you for taking the time to learn more about this multiple sclerosis. The more visible this disease is, the better the chances are for more conversations, additional research, and ultimately finding a cure. If you'd like to learn more, please check out the National MS Society or contact our National MS Peer Support Group, Life Between Doses, at lbdoses@gmail.com.